Okay, good morning, you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm excited to be here this morning and to share with you guys just again some tips, right? Just some tips, some things you could take with you, some things that I hope will have some sort of positive effect on your business, on your in your life, in your journey. I know for me, I appreciate things like this from people, right? We do, right? And that's why you guys are here. That's why you're tuning in because we just kind of appreciate being able to learn from other people, from their mistakes, their success, their journey, other people's experiences. And so I know when there's someone that I'm really, 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 really um, admire, right? When there's someone I really admire, I like to let me get out of here. Need to see that. When there's someone I really admire, I'm not just impressed with their success, right? Like for Jay-Z, for example. I appreciate his hustle. Me being from the streets, me loving hip hop. I love hip hop from the ratchet to the woke to the what is it called? I don't know, physiological to the ghetto girl to all of it, the new hip hop that my son listens to. I love it all. I love it all because I love music. I love storytelling. I love people that are like, talking crap, talking smack, boosting themselves up, being motivational. Like I love it. That's what hip hop is for me. And so I'm a huge Jay-Z fan just because I appreciate him as a rapper. I think he's very dope as a rapper. And then of course, as an entrepreneur, I respect his hustle as an entrepreneur, him coming from what he came from to being a, billionaire, and not even just the money aspect, but what he gives back to the community. He didn't just come up by himself, but he's bringing people up with him in his journey, and he's teaching lessons without teaching lessons, right? It's not like he's sitting here doing a tip on this Tuesday, but when you watch people and you pay close attention, you can catch things. You can catch, certain tips. You can catch certain moves and different language and, the way strategy, because I know a lot of what he does is definitely strategic. Like it has to be strategic because it's so well done, him as an entrepreneur. He's paved the way for a lot of people. So, but I also in looking at that and admiring that and celebrating that and being encouraged and empowered by that, I'm also actually even more empowered by the mistakes he made, and anybody that I admire in business and life as well. What mistakes did you make? What were those obstacles that you had to endure? What were those painful moments? When did you want to give up? And those things, because as an entrepreneur, those are the things that we need to be aware of. It's cool. Like Jay-Z said, he's what I don't, this quote is wrong. I should have got the quote, right? But you got Google, you can look it up, but I should have got the quote. But he said something to the effect with don't study my success. Study the hard times, study my obstacles, study, all of the bad stuff that I had to go through, because that's where you get your lessons. Right. And I know that to be true for me. I have grown through the struggles. I have literally grown through the tough moments, the frustration, the fear, the doubt, the worry, right? I know you guys can relate. If you can relate to that, go ahead and give me a heart or something. Let me know, hey, I can relate to that, RE, right? We grow through those journey. Can y'all hear me? I hope y'all can hear me. Y'all tell me, let me know y'all can hear me because I'm just sitting here chit chat. I'm just talking. Can y'all hear me? I see a hand raised, but I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. I'm pretty sure you can, but we learn through those situations. Let me make sure you guys can hear me before I keep moving on. I hate to say stuff like this, but whatever. Can anybody put in the chat that you guys can hear me? Please. As I'm over here just chit chatting away or something, give me a hand raise, give me something, let me know that you can hear me, please. Okay, cool. All right, good. Thank you. I just want to make sure I'm on mute over here. Because I'm telling y'all, technology, when we talk about challenges and struggles, technology for me, when I have to do this on my own, which is 99% of the time, it is a struggle. It's like in our journey, it seems like everything goes wrong. No matter how much you prepare, no matter what, it seems like just everything wants to go wrong right before something amazing is about to happen. I have hosted so many conferences and masterminds and live events and things that I'm telling you, it was complete chaos before. And no one knows, because you don't know what goes on behind that curtain, especially when it comes to live events. If any of you guys have done live events, you know what I'm talking about. It's a struggle. It is not as easy as it appears when that person shows up on stage and they got their suit and tie on and they got their mic and they come and they're commanding that stage. You have no idea what goes on, but that's where you learn. That's where I like to take people. That's where I like to bring my mentees behind the scene. And what I realize is a lot of people are not prepared for that part of growing, that part of being successful, that part of entrepreneurship, especially newbies. They're not prepared. And this is why I made a quote or a post the other day on my Facebook page. I'm not sure if I shared it on Instagram and IG or not, but I talked about how I personally believe that entrepreneurs are not made. I don't believe that someone can be taught to be tough, to be resilient, to follow through, to execute, I believe it's all mindset, and I believe that it's already within us. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what I truly believe, because it's so difficult. And in my journey of over 25 years of being an entrepreneur, I've seen a lot of people try and not succeed. And that's okay. It just wasn't for them, right? But at least they tried, right? But the people who are still thriving, and I'm talking about successful, I'm talking about living their dream life, creating the lifestyle that they want, the financial freedom, whatever their purpose was or is for becoming an entrepreneur, and they're thriving in that space, they weren't taught it. It was that determination, that grit, that grind, that resiliency, all of this stuff that I'm about to talk about, it's already in them. You get what I'm saying? Because first of all, you already got to kind of have it already, just to quit your job, just to say, hey, I'm going to hire a business coach. Hey, I'm going to go and form my LLC. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and put the lease down and get these keys to this new building. Whatever it is, you kind of already got to have some courage, right? Just to do that. Like, everybody can't do that. So I commend anybody for just kind of taking that step forward in the beginning. But then as you go through those highs and lows, if you're still here, those are the type of people that I like to work with, because those are the people that are determined. Those are the people that I feel are really committed to the process, because it is a process. So let me dive in, because what I want to talk about today on this tip on this Tuesday was the mistakes and the lessons and the losses that I've learned on my particular journey, but not just the losses and the mistakes and the mishaps, but what I did to pull myself out of some of these situations. And because we only have about 30 to 45 minutes, I won't go too deep, but I do want to just share some stuff that I hope will inspire you and encourage you to keep moving forward. And then if anybody wants to come on here on Zoom, and type in a question or a challenge that you're currently having, I would love to support you with something if I can, right? So what made me, I never know what I'm going to talk about when I do these tips on this Tuesday, because I'm so busy. It's not like I have a list of topics and things like that. I move organically. And that's one of the things that has really created success for me. I really listen to my spirit. I really just tap into what I'm feeling and move in that direction, because I really feel like that's where I'm supposed to go. I feel like whenever our spirit is giving this thing, this voice, some of us, we hear a voice, or, it's a thought, or for me, it's always a vision. I just move forward on it. Like, I don't, like, it ain't no, I'm just gonna move forward. I don't try to talk myself out of it. And that's been a huge lesson for me, right? Look, my husband was like, what lessons are you going to share? I was like, dang, I don't know, because I have thousands every single day as an entrepreneur. If you can relate, let me see that hand, that heart. Every single day I learn a freaking lesson, every day. I really learn a lot more about myself and how strong I am, number one, right? But I learn more about myself. I learn more about people. I learn more about business. I learn more about life, like all that. Thank you, Candace, like all that every single day. So I was like, I have no idea. And I don't even know, these aren't my top three. I just pulled them out of the air. Whatever came to me, I'm going to share. But what made me want to talk about this was I have this group called Solid Money Executive Roundtables, very high level, all multi-six and seven-figure entrepreneurs. All of us have been in the game for at least 10 years. We're, just it's a very high level group. And I created this group because I couldn't find one, not one that I felt comfortable in, right? I wanted a group that was cliquish. I really wanted some high level thinkers, and some go-getters and some doers in this group. So I formed it. It took me a long time to get this thing off the ground. And so yesterday we had a guest speaker on there, and somebody was a guest. So if you're a member, it's free, or you can be a guest and it's $200, right? So there was a guest on yesterday, and they had the opportunity to ask our guest speaker, again, our, very prominent person, one of my mentors, a question. And the question was, in my opinion, wasn't a question that would help them. It was like a surface level type of question. It was a question that you would expect somebody to ask this type of person, a celebrity brand, right? That everybody in the world pretty much knows, right? And I felt like as people, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we're asking the wrong question. If I sit down with this person, which I have many times, or Jay-Z, or any other person that I admire, Pinky Cole, who I talk about in my book, Become a High Value Brand, when I'm able to sit and talk with these people, I'm not asking surface questions. I want to know some root level stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was the mindset that you had in order to get through? Like, what is it like daily for you to get through your daily practice to keep going? Share with me some mistakes you made, like that kind of stuff, not the surface level stuff. So I feel like when we have those opportunities to get in certain rooms, we want to take advantage of those opportunities. And so I had to take control of the meeting, and I started asking these types of questions: what mistakes, what lessons, what losses, what can, so the people who were there, because I was hosting that particular one, could learn from that. And it was incredible. I'm talking about, it was just phenomenal. So that was what inspired me to say, hey, I want to share some of my losses. So we got to ask the right questions, you guys. You write that down. We have to ask the right questions, right? Your growth is in your acts. Your growth is in the question. Be prepared. Like, as I talked about in my book, Become a High Value Brand, you always have to have this curious mindset. That means you're constantly wanting to learn. You're constantly wanting to grow. You constantly want to know things so that you can be better. So you can have more value in what you bring to your marketplace, to your business, to your brand, to your community, to your family, right? Always want to be learning. And that doesn't necessarily mean reading books, because things are different now. They have audiobooks. We can do courses. We can come on and log in or call in for Tip on This Tuesday. We can get the information that we need. So remain curious at all times. But let me tell you a mistake or a loss that I have never taken that I hear a lot of people do make, and that is investing their money in the wrong places. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have heard recently, if you're on Instagram, about scammers, about people in the financial literacy space. Primarily, this is what this talk, is going on about people being scammed and people being ripped off and people investing in courses or giving their money to people, and they're running off with the money and things aren't panning out the way that they did. But before that, it's always been particular people, or I don't know, just people in general, will share their stories online about, not getting what they pay, excuse me, what they paid for from a course or from a coach or something of that nature, where they, they put their faith in the person, and they feel like they got bamboozled. They feel like they got scammed. Me, that has never happened to me. And let me tell you why. I'm not blinded by the floss. The floss, that's a California word. I know you guys are familiar with it, but flossing, we call it flossing, where you got the nice cars, the jewelry, the homes, the vacation, that flashy stuff that success can bring to people, where you have the luxury of being able to afford a finer life. And so a lot of times people are reeled in through that, because that's what we want, that we want success. They're sharing the success. They're sharing their bling, their flaws. And so I'm not impressed by that. Again, as I go back to what I was talking about earlier, I'm impressed by the journey, because that's what I'm going to learn from. So I've never given my money or invested in a course or someone, a coach or anyone, because of that. And I go with my gut. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times we'll hear a voice that's telling us this ain't right. This is uncomfortable. And we have to listen to that voice, but we have to be very cautious. Is that a self-sabotaging voice of fear? Or is that, nah, this don't feel comfortable, or there's a red flag? You get what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention to the red flags. And so I'm very good at paying attention to the red flags. And then I do my due diligence. I do believe that success leaves clues. And when I say that, I'm not talking about Benzes and Rolls Royces, right? Those aren't the clues that I'm looking for, because we all know those things could be rented. Those things could be fake. Get what I'm saying? That's a lot of what you see is not real, right? But I look for how long have they been an entrepreneur? Were they an entrepreneur? What business did they have before they started teaching on this particular subject, right? What was their success before the course, before the mastermind, before the one-on-one coaching that I'm going to pay for, before I invest in them coming in and helping me with my business? What was their success before that, or at the same time? You get what I'm saying? What assets do they have where they're investing their money? How are they giving back? You get what I'm saying? So I'm very, I just do my due diligence. And I think that's so important for us to do as we are on our journey to seek help, because we need help. It's not a want, it's a need. We need help in our journey. We need help. Okay. We cannot do this alone. You get what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a spouse, one business, somebody, we need help, but we have to do our due diligence. So that I want to say that's one, I hear people talk about that, and I'm like, wow, I've never been got. Like, everything that I've ever, even if it's a conference or an event, if I'm paying money, I know it's high value. Like, I know it's worthy of me to be there, because I always have intention anyway about what's in it for me. And then another thing is that you got to make sure that you execute whatever is given to you too. A lot of times people, I got bamboo. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Blah, blah, blah. What did you execute? Did you put the stuff to work? Like, are you consistently putting it to work consistently? Right. So a lot of times we have to look at ourselves too as well. So it's not always just being bamboozled. It's sometimes we're not putting the work in. So that's one thing I wanted to say. But one of the mistakes I made, so before where I am now, I've done a lot of businesses. Club promoter, promoting clubs. I did all these network marketing companies, from Mary Kay to selling sex toys to all kind of stuff. Home goods, not home goods, but home goods, goods in your home. I was selling all kind of stuff, selling color contact lenses. Like, listen, I was trying to figure this thing out. Trying to figure this thing out. All I knew is that I wanted to work for myself and create my own life and have a little bit more control, right? So I was all over the place, like many entrepreneurs are when they start out. No one comes up with this bright idea and just pops off overnight. No one does that. So get out of that. I'm not saying y'all, but I'm saying just in general, like we know that doesn't happen, right? So I went through a whole bunch of different things. And then finally I started doing hip hop dance classes in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And for me, that was my real journey of entrepreneurship, because that was when I invested thousands of dollars. That was when I had to pay $18,000 monthly for overhead, for my staff, for my systems, for my building, electricity, like anything you think of, $18,000 a month. Okay, it was my overhead, right? I don't pay that. That ain't my overhead now, right? So that was my real journey. I had to hire staffs and employ people and, and learn people and go through this whole thing of managing and things like that. But what I did was I did not properly prepare a business plan or a business strategy or exit plan from that dance school. And what happened was I didn't prepare for the worst. So what happened was in 2008, I started the business in 2004. And then 2008, we had this, the economy just went, we went through a recession. And me and my husband had just bought a house maybe 2 years or a year prior. I don't even know. My dates are all off. If you guys have been following me for a while, those of you, my dates and times are off. So people are like, she be lying. No, I don't. My times are off, but I know that it happened. That my dates are off. But, and so we lost our home. And when I tell you this was my dream home, man, this was like, I felt good in that home. You know what I'm saying? It was just had great energy. We had worked so hard to get there, et cetera, had built my business up, my brand. I was very well known, but I lost everything, literally lost everything, meaning I lost my building that I had, that I put all kind of money into, that I didn't own, which is another lesson. Don't do that. Don't put too much money into a building you don't own. What else? So I lost my car, we lost the house, I lost customers because I had to move into this very tiny little ghetto, dirty little staff. I had to move, I was moving around from building to building to building a lot, trying to just get my footing, but I never gave up. Right. I always saw the vision and I stayed true to my purpose. I'm not a dancer. I didn't go to dance school. I didn't teach dance. I was not a teacher. I started my dance school because I wanted to create a space where young Black girls can come and see themselves, where young Black girls can come and be empowered and be around culture. Because I felt, coming from a culturally diverse community, moving from Sacramento, California to Fredericksburg, Virginia, in that area, there was, in my opinion, there was not much, if anything, around for Black girls to, engross themselves in. So I wanted to have this place, and I saw what it was doing for people at that time. And even now, my whole tagline and my motto was empowering minds and changing lives. And I knew when I got out of jail, that was what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but that was what I wanted to do. And I saw that was happening. And so I knew that was my purpose, right? To empower minds and change lives. And I saw that happening. So I stayed focused no matter what was going on around me, the chaos, the being broke, the having my son during that time. I had my son in 2007 and recession was in 2008, 2009. So he was 1 and 2. Let me tell you, I was so broke. I was picking up coins, looking in the back seat. And I know we've heard people say this, but this is my story. Literally looking for coins to go through the dollar menu so I could feed my son. I didn't want to go to the government and get welfare and food stamps and all that stuff because my ego. Right. So I was like, no, I'm going to push this through because I stay focused, like, the blinders on horses when they're in a race and they're determined to win. They don't want to look and see what's happening around them. They got to stay focused on their vision, on the goal. And that's what I did. I stayed focused on my purpose. What am I here to do, Ari? What is it that you were here to do? And when I saw previously, because I started my business at the dance school in 2004, how it was having this effect, not just on the young girls, but my community and how I was giving back to the community. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, changing lives. And so for me, that made sense. So what I had to do was I had to get serious about my business. And a lot of times we're not serious about our business because we get into this business because we're blindsided by the shiny objects, this unrealistic reality that we see on social media, the glitz, the glam, the money, the cars, the jewelry, the whatever, right? And so we're not serious. Now, that wasn't my story. I just made a mistake. Let me tell you what that mistake was. The mistake was not treating my business like a business. So I had to get down and sit down with my mentor at that time and create a business plan. And one of the first things that he had me do, and I would love for you guys to do this if you have not already, is to create a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis, SWOT, is a way for you to track and plan strategically for your business. I do this for all my brand management clients straight off the bat. This is one of the very first things that we do because, again, I learned this lesson by had I had a SWOT analysis before the recession, I wouldn't have lost everything. I wouldn't have went through what I went through. This is why we have to do our due diligence when we're investing in coaches and people that can support us on our journey. What have they been through? You understand what I'm saying? What's the story behind the big house? Because I got a big house, right? But how did I get here? You understand what I'm saying? What was that? Well, I'm sharing with you right now. I didn't take my business seriously, right? I didn't. So I created this SWOT analysis. So the SWOT is an acronym. So the S is strengths. So what are the strengths in your business? Like, what are you good at? What I call your guruisms. Like, what is it that only you have done, right? And as a person, as a brand, right? Or that are your strengths that's going to have you stand out from everybody else, right? So of course, for me at that time, my strength was being the only and the first and only Black-owned dance studio catering to the Black community. And I stood very strong on that with no qualms, right? No shame, no fear. That was one of my biggest strengths. And that's why I grew after I did the SWOT analysis. I stood on that. I just naturally did some of these things, just natural, but there was no strategy behind it. So I hope you guys are catching what I'm putting down, right? Your weaknesses, what are you weak at? Where can you, what are some things that can weaken the company, right? For me, it was not having the right team. So what do I need to do, right, ahead of time to plan to hire the right team? Because that was a huge weakness for me. I had never had to hire nobody. I was always being hired. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn. As an entrepreneur, you take on every role. HR, shipping, you become the manager, the supervisor, the cashier, you cooking the food, you paying the light bill, right? You calling people asking them why they ain't come to work. Like you are everything. That was new for me, and I know it's new for a lot of you, right? So do a SWOT analysis. Opportunities is the O. What opportunities are available out there for me as a business to take advantage of, or to make sure that I can position myself for these opportunities, or what opportunities could I seek that can bring value to my brand, right? And then threats. What are some things that could potentially happen to just totally tear down the business? A recession, a financial, economic, exactly what we're in right now. Right? These are threats. Another company coming in and copying my whole thing and doing the same thing. These are threats, right? So when you do a SWOT analysis, you're prepared. So I encourage y'all to do a SWOT analysis. That was big for me. It changed the game. It took me not too long, but it took me a minute to turn things around. The next thing was, as a speaker, this is one thing I like to talk about. Oh, Lord. As a speaker, I noticed that when you're dealing with other people, a lot of times they don't have the experience that you have. they're not as polished and well put together, maybe not as experienced as you. And so when you're working with someone and doing business with another person and you're partnering or collaborating, because if someone hires me to come and speak at their event, we're collaborating. We're now a partner, we're a team, because I want to come in and help you win, and then you want me to come in and see me win. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that the audience wins, and it's a win-win-win situation for everybody. That's how it should be. But what I realized is that in several partnerships, right? And I'm just speaking about speaking in particular, because this is where it's been pretty consistent over the years, is that people don't treat their business like a business, I guess, right? They're not very polished in their back end, meaning contracts, meaning just systemized way of doing business and things like that. So I've lost quite a bit of money in my journey because I'll say no, or we fall out, or, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't deal with no BS. Like I do business the way business is supposed to be done. And I like to share how I'm feeling about a particular situation. And so I've lost a lot of money in that process because of, trying to do some different collaboration and partnership. But what I've learned from that is that you have to be extremely crystal clear about what your expectations are, right? When I bring on new clients, the very first thing I do is say, okay, I have them fill out a form, or I do it on our first kickoff call, but I ask them, what are your expectations? Like, what are you wanting to experience? What do you want to see happen? What results do you want to see as a result of us working together for the next 6 months, right? What do you want to see happen 1 year from now, 3 years? And what do you expect from me? What do you expect from my team? How do you like to research? How do you like to get information? Are you expecting us to follow up with you every single day? Are you, whatever, right? Like, I like to come in at the beginning with expectations. And then here's what you can expect from us, right? Et cetera. You get what I'm saying? So it creates this open, communication. It creates this, I understand what's happening, you know what I'm saying? And you can't get that done sometimes just on a phone call when someone's booking you to do something, or you you really have to put in some time, like a good hour, just to go over expectations. That way everything is clear, and then to make sure that everything is on paper, because a lot of times people aren't used to contracting. They don't know the language. They're not having attorneys write. People are not having attorneys write their contract. They're not getting the right forms, the right systems. And I noticed that because I've been in this game for a very long time. And I know there's a lot of new people coming in. And when you work a job, you're given all the contracts, you're giving everything, right? So me, I had to create all these things. I hired attorneys to write all my contracts and to protect me and them, right? Should anything go wrong? So I've learned to make sure that I have these conversations, especially if it's like a really big deal, or if someone's investing like a lot of money into themselves, into brand management or whatever. I make sure that there's some clear expectations that we can discuss, we can go over. And I'm telling y'all, it has really saved me stress. It has strengthened my relationships with people that I collaborate and partner with. I'm actually venturing and doing a new partnership. And it just strengthens, like, wow, thank you, Ari. I'm glad we had this conversation. Absolutely. Like, these are things that we have to do, but sometimes we just don't think about it. We assume that this person knows what we're thinking. Like, I'm a speaker, like I know certain things need to be in place. If you tell me I have 30 minutes, I'm planning for 30 minutes. You can't have me come and because you running behind, now I only got 15 minutes. You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It happens, y'all. It happens. So I have to let them know, look, you told me I got 30 minutes. I'm gonna need my 30 minutes because I'm strategically planning out my talk. But you get what I'm saying? So you have to just have these crystal clear conversations. It really strengthens your relationship. It strengthens your business. People respect you more. It keeps your integrity of your brand very high. The last one is very important, y'all. and this ain't even got to be for entrepreneurs, this could be for anybody, but making a whole bunch of money and not saving it and not investing it properly back into my business. Woo, let me tell y'all, I come from the streets. I used to sell drugs. I've been around, I'm not now. I grew up from the age of 4 that I can remember all the way up until I met my husband, which was around 22, 23-ish, 24, who knows? I don't know, right? In my early 20s, I was around drugs. I was around drug dealers. I was around gangbangers. This was my life, right? So in that space, money comes so fast. It comes so fast. It comes and you spend. It comes and you spend. And I'm still, me and my husband, we talk about this. I still struggle. He has to put me on like punishments, restrictions. When we bought this house, he was like, listen, what is you doing? We gonna have to drop almost 100,000. What are you doing? I couldn't vacation, y'all. And y'all know I like to vacation, and I like to vacation in style and luxury, right? I like to spend my money. But what happens is when you need money to invest in something like a coach or a course or an event or a high-level mastermind, like one of mine, right? And you don't have, that was a shameless plug. You don't have the money because you're not properly putting aside whatever that percentage is for you, right? For me, I put a minimum of 15% of my gross income aside to be prepared for opportunities that I have on my SWOT analysis that may come around, right? Because you never know what's going to happen, right? Hopefully you have in your business plan and your brand plan, that you want to invest in, personal development, business development, that should be in your business plan, right? So, well, if you're getting your money and you're spending it on groceries, or you're spending it on, an elaborate something, and it's not time yet, sometimes it's just not time. You're spending on an expensive handbag because you want to, celebrate. Sometimes it's not time to celebrate. And I had to learn. I have not purchased a designer bag in probably 2.5 years. And I usually buy one every 6 months or so, right? But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good without it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't treat yourself, but we got to be strategic with our revenue and how we're saving it to put, because you guys, let me tell you something. Being that a lot of people want to work with me, they swear I'm super expensive, and I'm not. I'm not. I'm actually a lot less expensive than probably what a lot of people think, which they find out once they actually get out of their fear and book a session to talk with me. They realize, oh, okay, I can do this because I make it budget friendly, where you can make low monthly payments. You get what I'm saying? And I extend them out over a longer period of time. But so many people don't have the money. I'm like, but you're doing 6 figures. You made all this money. You have a job. You have a husband. You're making money. Where's your money for business development? You should have it. And so that's one of the things that I like to help people with, which is what my main focus for my Wealth Table Mastermind is going to be on July 15th and 16th here in Atlanta in my home. We're going to be focused on financials and planning financially for our success. I wish somebody would have sat me down and worked with me through that process. Do you know, my husband said because currently at the moment, I make more money than my husband, right? Currently. It has not always been this way. It has not. He said, if I made as much money as much money that has come through your business, he said, I'll be freaking a multi-millionaire, like literally, you know what I'm saying? He's like, so God is still working on me. Right? This is a lesson, right? This is because I'm used to money coming and me spending. I'm used to it, right? It's a mental thing for me, right? So we have to really become more financially sound when it comes to our money, y'all. So like I said, this is one of the things that I'm really gonna, now I have a financial plan, I have a budget plan. Now I'm investing a percent. Now I have percentages of my, no matter how much I make, I'm putting 15% into my personal development, my business development. No matter how much I make, I'm putting 5%, not 10, 5% back into my community, sometimes more, right? Into philanthropy, right? So there's certain things that I'm doing, that making sure that I'm paying myself a percentage, that I'm putting money away for investments, yeah, I'll talk about that later, but just certain things, because opportunities are going to come, and I'm big on real estate. As entrepreneurs, we have to have a retirement plan. So what's that retirement plan look like? How much are you putting into your life insurance policies? How much are you putting into your annuities? Like, what does that look like? Like, what are your investments? For me, it's real estate and annuities and stocks, right? And mainly, primarily real estate. So, because I ain't gonna work forever. So we have to get more strategic. So I'm gonna have a financial planner here to assist you guys that are coming. And I'm gonna share my system, my exact system that I use, that now, things are so much better now financially for me, where I always have money. There's never a no, I ain't got it. You get what I'm saying? There's never no, I ain't got it, because it's a system that I've developed now that creates this cash flow, and to make sure that there's always something there. Because it's really good to go into your personal bank account and see that you have, over 5 or 6 figures sitting there when you need it. That's one of the greatest feelings in the world. And I feel like that's what true financial freedom is. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. One of the main pillars for the Wealth Table Mastermind. So if you want to come and you're available July 15th and 16th, please just hit me up, email, DM, whatever. I'm easy to reach. And I can send you an application for you so you can come. So we're out of time. I wanted to make this 8:45. I won't be able to answer a challenge today. However, you can DM me, you can email me, and I can address it on next Tuesday. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that this has been valuable in some way, somehow. There's something that, that you got from this tip on this Tuesday. And I thank you guys so much for sharing your time with me this morning. I will say goodbye, and I'll see you guys next time.